Welcome to my video on how I make dog food for my dog Snowy. My dog Snowy has a lot of allergies. We did a study on her using a product called 5-Strand that we purchased through the dog bakery here in our area through Frank, who was very helpful, and that showed us that she was allergic to chicken and beef. So I am buying ground lamb, but you can actually you can use whatever protein you would like or that is good for your dog. If your dog itches a lot, you may want to eliminate chicken and try something else. I also have bought in the past, before I knew about Snowy's condition, ground beef for dogs at the butcher, and they include like lamb and liver, not lamb, but hearts and liver and different things that are even better for dogs. And I also used to buy ground chicken at the butcher. So the butcher is your friend if you're making homemade dog food, and that you can buy it either frozen or fresh, whatever you would probably prefer at your butcher, but you could ask them. So the first thing I do is I thaw out the ground lamb. I get it at Costco Business. Here's the lamb. I put it in the crock pot, and it's in these squares. It's 1 pound per square. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool, this tool here, and I'm going to chop it up to be like, crumbled ground meat when I'm done. But initially I just put it in the crock pot, and I will put it on low, and I will let that cook for a couple hours, and I keep watching it and breaking it up. Then while that's going on, I immediately do my rice. And what I do is, for 4 pounds of lamb, you can, double or triple your recipe. I do 2 cups of minute rice, and I take an apple and I peel it, and I cut it up and dice it up real small, and I put the apple in with the rice and cook that together. And it literally does take 5 minutes. It's so easy. And that will be done in this pot. Then the rest of it is just opening and dumping, really. I take a can of cut green beans, but it can be any vegetable your dog likes or is good for dogs. Always always Google and find out, is this vegetable good for dogs or not? But I use either French style green beans or cut green beans. I will open that can and dump it in this big bowl. I just have a big bowl. Then I take this bag of peas and carrots, and it can be any brand, and I dump that into the bowl. Then I take the spinach, and I take half of the bag. This is a 12-ounce bag, so if you're doing, my measurement, which is 4 pounds of meat, then you would do 6 ounces of chopped spinach. Obviously, you can use the whole bag if you're doubling your recipe. And that's really basically what I do. I put all raw, cold vegetables in this big bowl. Then once the rice is done, I will dump the rice and apple mixture after it's gotten cooked. I dump that into the big bowl with the veggies, and I stir it around. Once the meat is ready, I will then take the meat and I drain it, and then I take the meat, and it's all crumbly, and I mix the meat into this big bowl. And I will show you that later too. The other thing I want to mention is at the end, when you're done cooking, optionally, depending on your dog's allergies, you can buy all kinds of nutrient blends. These are just examples. My dog is allergic, so I had to stop feeding this to her. But if your dog is not allergic, you can go to probably PetSmart or any of the pet stores, or even online or whatever, and buy the nutrient blends. And they tell you by the size of the recipe how much to sprinkle in. It's like a powder. And then I also have the liquid Omega Plus just for dogs, which is another allegedly healthy thing for skin and shiny coats. But again, with my dog's allergies, I can't use a lot of these products. The other thing I do is I substitute for variety. Instead of rice, I can use sweet potatoes. I can use white potatoes. Anything you want to substitute with. They say do not use brown rice for dogs, just white rice. And as far as substitution, again, you can substitute meat for whatever works for your dog. If it's chicken, if it's lamb, whatever you think would be good, pork, whatever you think is good for your dog. So that's it for the beginning, and I will show you as I'm cooking it how it goes. I'm now chopping up the lamb, the ground lamb, because you don't want to cook it like a big giant hamburger. You want it to be crumbled up, so I just use this chopping tool. You can use anything you want. If you want to put gloves on and break it up with your hand, I just usually keep working at this and just keep chopping it with this chopper. And I'm using a crock pot, so I would recommend a crock pot because they say to cook it low and slow, so I cook it on low, not to cook it real high heat. And I just keep chopping this up till it's nice and crumbly, and then I will start cooking the lamb. I also sprinkle some cinnamon on it. I don't think any other seasonings are appropriate for dogs, but I just thought a little bit of cinnamon can't hurt. They say cinnamon is good for people, and I've never heard of anyone saying that it isn't good for dogs from what I've researched, but I just sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on my meat, which also helps give it a little bit of better smell. And you don't ever want to put any seasonings like salt and pepper or any seasonings you would eat on this meat. As you can see, I'm now peeling the apple, and once I peel it, I will slice it up very small and put that in with the rice when I put it in the pot. Now my apple is all chopped up. I don't chop it up that small, but I do chop it up pretty small, and I will add that to the rice when I put it in the pot to cook it. Now I'm going to get ready to do the vegetables. Remember, if you're going to use anything canned, drain and rinse it. I don't usually, but it's nice to throw a can of green beans in there. But I do try to use the frozen vegetables. I think they're a lot better because they're not really cooked. But remember to drain and rinse any canned vegetables you might use. Now I just dumped the spinach, the vegetables, and the green beans in the bowl. Nothing is cooked. It's all frozen. I just dump it right in the bowl, and that's all ready now. My bowl is starting to come together. Now that my apple water mixture is come to a boil, I will now dump my 2 cups of rice into the pot, and I will stir it. Just give it a stir, kind of mix it up. And this is so easy, it's crazy. I just mix it up like that. And then I put the lid on it, I turn the heat off, and I let it sit for 5 minutes. My rice is now done. It literally takes 5 minutes. I will take off the lid. I'll stir it up. It stirs up real nice. And it's nice. It's cooked the apple a little bit, but not totally, which is good because it gives a little, still has a little crunch in it for Snowy when she's eating her food. And then I will just take this whole pot and I will dump it into the big bowl of vegetables. Okay, I've just dumped the rice and apple mixture into the big bowl of veggies, and now I'm just going to stir it up and get it all evenly mixed so that when my meat is ready, it'll just be all mixed nice and evenly, and then I can just mix the meat in, and it turns out fabulous. And obviously, if you want to make this for yourself and eat it, this is all human-grade food. All you have to do is season it. You could put chicken stock or beef stock in your rice water. Instead of water, use a flavoring. You can season it. It's just human food. It looks like a fried rice when you're done. And as you can see, it's mixing up nice and even. And it's got a good balance of veggies and a good balance of rice and a good balance of fruit to give Snowy a healthy meal. And then when I'm done with this, I just let it sit. It literally just sits here, and the meat just keeps cooking. And as you can see, this is a very, very large bowl. It's like a bowl you would make bread in. So it's very large, which is nice when you're making a big mixture like this. If you're going to double the batch, you might want to get 2 bowls because it might be too much to mix it. But you'll see me in a few minutes after the meat is done. Now that the meat is done, I'm going to take the meat and I'm going to start to strain it, kind of drain it, get the juice out of it. And then I'm going to start to pour it into the already created big bowl of rice and veggies. And I'll just keep doing this and keep straining the meat, trying to get the juice out of it. And then I will just start to stir the meat into the contents of this big bowl. And I'll just keep adding and adding and adding meat and keep stirring this bowl until all the meat has been incorporated into the rice and the vegetables. Now I'm completely done incorporating all the meat into the big bowl with the rice and the vegetables. I'm going to try to get you a close-up here. That's what it looks like. So it's a good ratio of meat to rice, vegetables, and fruit. And I think it's a real good mix for her and seems to work out well. Typically, she is glued to me, watching every move I make. She never misses a beat. She sticks with me all day while I'm making this, and she just can't wait to taste it. She always gets a little taste. So what I'm going to do now, which I should have done before, but I want to do it now, is I'm going to measure what this yields in quantity. She gets a 1/2 cup in the morning and a 1/2 cup at night, and she weighs about 17, 18 pounds. So that's what I've been feeding her. I mean, every dog's different, depends on their activity level and if they get a lot of extra treats and things. So we give her a 1/2 cup in the morning and a 1/2 cup at night for dinner. So what I'm going to do is measure this out, and I will let you know how much this yields when I show you how I then package this up and put it in the freezer for her. Be right back. Okay, all the food is done and wrapped. I wound up having 9 Ziplocs full. One Ziploc was only 3.25 portions, but it equates to 2 days worth of food at a 1/2 cup per meal. She eats in the morning and at night. It's 2.8 ounces of food per 1/2 cup. And I did some other calculations to give you more information. We are using Ziplocs in this video. I have used regular containers as well. Either one works, depends on your refrigerator room. But on this particular batch, I wound up with 6.46 pounds of total food, which equals 35.25 meals, which equates to 17.625 days of food. And the food total was $31.50 or $1.78 per day to feed Snowy. Or if you want to look at it in pounds of food, $4.87 per pound is the total cost of her food. And this is using lamb from Costco Business Center. And the lamb itself, we actually bought a quantity of 8 pounds at a time, which was $53.38 for 8 pounds of lamb from Costco. So obviously the figures are going to change significantly depending on what you buy. As far as the other veggies, they're almost non-significant. They're so small. Peas and carrots are about $1 a bag. The beans about $1 for a can. Spinach $1, an apple $1, and the rice is about 50 cents worth of rice. So it's really all about the protein. So that's it in a nutshell, and I will detail all this out at the bottom of the video. Thank you.